There is a war happening inside you right now, and you're losing. Not because you lack ambition or talent, but because you're fighting a battle you don't even understand. The ancient warriors knew something about ambitious people who get stuck. They found that the person blocking your success isn't your boss or your competition. It's a version of yourself that refuses to die. And until that version dies, nothing changes. The Spartans had a name for this internal enemy. The samurai developed rituals to destroy it. But here's what nobody tells you. This enemy is comfortable and familiar. Your biology is programmed to protect it, even if it destroys your future. So why do some people break through while others stay frozen? What did the warriors know about transformation that we've forgotten? If you're tired of being stuck, hit subscribe, because we're about to reveal teachings forged in the darkest moments of history. Once you hear this, you can never unhear it. Let's begin. There's a war happening inside you right now. You feel it, don't you? That burning ambition colliding with invisible chains, that voice screaming for more while your body remains frozen. You're not lazy, you're not broken. You're caught in something far more ancient, far more dangerous than simple procrastination. You're experiencing what the warrior philosophers called the death before death, the paralysis that kills more dreams than failure ever could. This isn't just another motivational speech. This is an excavation of a truth so old, so buried, that most people live their entire lives without ever touching it. The warriors knew something about ambition that we've completely forgotten. They understood that being stuck isn't a problem of willpower. It's a problem of identity. It's a problem of not yet dying to who you were, so you can become who you must be. Listen carefully, because what you're about to hear has been hidden in plain sight for thousands of years. Whispered in training grounds, carved into temple walls, encoded in the disciplines of Spartans, samurai, and Stoics. This is the lesson they didn't want comfortable people to learn, because once you understand it, comfort becomes impossible. Once you see it, you can never unsee it. You will either transform or be destroyed by your own potential. There is no middle ground on the warrior's path. The ancient warriors had a concept they rarely spoke about outside their inner circles. The Spartans called it apatheia, the samurai mushin, the Stoics, amor fati. But beneath the different languages, the principle was identical. They understood that ambition without execution is just fantasy wearing a mask of purpose. They knew that every person who claims to want greatness but remains frozen is not lacking resources, opportunity, or even courage. They're lacking something far more fundamental, the willingness to become unrecognizable to their former self. Think about that. Really let it sink into your bones. You say you want to build an empire, master your craft, transform your body, create legendary work. But are you willing to become someone your current friends won't recognize? Are you willing to have conversations that make your family uncomfortable? Are you willing to spend years in the dark, alone, training, while everyone else is out there being normal? The warrior philosophers discovered that ambitious people are stuck because they're trying to achieve extraordinary results while maintaining an ordinary identity. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot worship at the altar of comfort and conquest simultaneously. The universe doesn't work that way. Reality doesn't bend to your wishes. It only responds to your actions, and your actions only change when your identity changes. Here's what the warriors knew that modern self-help gurus conveniently forget to mention. Transformation is not a beautiful process. It's not Instagram-worthy. It's not something you can do while also maintaining your social calendar, your entertainment habits, and your need for everyone's approval. Transformation is violent. It's the death of who you were. The Spartans didn't train their warriors with gentle encouragement and positive affirmations. They threw them into situations where their old self would die and their new self would be forged in necessity. The agoge wasn't designed to make boys feel good about themselves. It was designed to kill the boy so the warrior could emerge. You're stuck because you're trying to add warrior habits to a civilian identity. You're trying to bolt discipline onto a foundation of comfort-seeking. You're attempting to build a temple on quicksand. It will always collapse. The warriors understood something brutal and beautiful. You don't develop discipline. You don't acquire mental strength. You strip away everything that isn't those things. So the question isn't how do I get more motivated? The question is what part of me am I willing to kill today? What comfortable habit, what limiting belief, what old story about yourself are you willing to let die so that the person you predestined to become can finally be born? This is the path. This is the only way forward. The war inside you ends the moment you choose which side you're on. Choose wisely. Thank you for watching. If this resonated, subscribe for more truths that matter. Discipline isn't something you add to your life. It's what's left when you strip away everything else. It's when you remove all the negotiation, all the comfort, all the excuses, and all the versions of yourself that are okay with mediocrity. You aren't building something new. You are burning away everything that isn't aligned with your highest vision. This is why it hurts. This is why you feel stuck. It's not because the path forward is unclear. It's because moving forward requires setting fire to the person you've been. And that person, even if they're limiting you, even if they're killing your dreams, feels familiar, known, safe. The samurai had a practice called masagi, a purification ritual involving cold water and a kind of spiritual death. But the physical act was just a symbol for something much deeper. They understood that every single day, a warrior must die to yesterday's version of themselves. Every morning is a rebirth. Every sunrise is an opportunity to shed the skin of who you were and step into who you are becoming. This is what you're really resisting. Not the work itself, not the discipline, not the sacrifice. You're resisting the annihilation of your current identity. You're resisting the ego death required for true transcendence. And your ambition knows it. That's why you feel that constant internal war. Your highest self is trying to kill your comfortable self, and your comfortable self is fighting for its survival. Both are you, both are valid, but only one can win. The warriors made a choice. They chose the death of comfort over the death of potential. They chose the temporary pain of transformation over the permanent pain of regret. They understood that being stuck isn't a static state. It's an active choice. Every single day you remain stuck, you're choosing it. You're choosing the familiar prison over the unknown freedom. You're choosing the safety of limitation over the danger of possibility. Now, here's where this ancient wisdom cuts deeper than anything you've heard before. The warriors discovered that people who are stuck are often addicted to their stuckness. Think about that for a second. You're not accidentally stuck. On some level, you're choosing it, because being stuck gives you something valuable. It gives you an identity. It gives you an excuse. It gives you a story about why you're not where you want to be. And that story protects you from the terrifying responsibility of your own potential. As long as you're stuck, you don't have to find out if you're truly capable. As long as you're preparing, planning, or just waiting for the right moment, you do want to have to face the possibility of failure or the even more terrifying possibility of success and everything that would demand from you. The Stoics called this the comfort of complaint. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journals about men who loved their chains more than their freedom, because those chains required nothing from them. Freedom, on the other hand, demanded everything. Being stuck is comfortable because it's familiar. It requires no change. It asks nothing new of you. You can remain exactly who you are, with all your current habits, beliefs, and routines intact, and just fantasize about a different life. But the warrior path demands annihilation. It demands you become unrecognizable. It demands you lose friends, face criticism, endure loneliness, question everything you know, sacrifice comfort, and walk through fire with no guarantee of what's on the other side. Let me tell you what really happens when you finally break through. Not the sanitized version, not the inspiring movie montage, the real version. When you actually commit, when you truly burn the boats and step onto the warrior's path, everything falls apart first. Your relationships will strain because you're no longer available to play small. Your comfort zones evaporate because you are systematically destroying them. Your old identity will scream and fight and throw every trick it has at you to pull you back into that familiar prison. You will question everything. You'll feel a profound sense of loss for the person you're leaving behind, even as you strive to become someone new. This is the brutal, messy, and necessary reality of transformation. It's not about adding discipline. It's about the courage to subtract everything that isn't you. If this message resonates with you, if you feel that internal war raging, know that you're not alone. This is the path. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more truths about the journey. Thank you for watching. You'll want to quit every single day. You'll come face to face with the darkest parts of yourself, the ones you've been expertly avoiding. The ancient warriors, they knew this. They built this struggle right into their training. They understood that the path to true power runs directly through your deepest fears, your most protected wounds, and all the carefully constructed lies you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. This is the lesson nobody wants to teach because it doesn't sell. It doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't promise you quick, easy results. But it is the truth. The ancient truth. The warrior truth. The reason you're stuck is because getting unstuck requires you to die. Not in a metaphorical sense. I mean actually, the death of your current operating system, the death of your current worldview, the death of your current capacity for dealing with life. You have to be completely destroyed to be rebuilt. The Spartans understood this so deeply. They built their entire society around it. They didn't believe in the concept of potential. They believed in forging. They believed that every single person is raw material, and raw material has to be broken down, melted, hammered, and shaped. It gets cooled, heated again, broken again, reformed again, until it becomes what it was always meant to be. A sword isn't just found lying around. It's created through a violent, brutal transformation. You are that raw material. Your ambition is the fire. Your discipline is the hammer. And that feeling of being stuck, that's just you refusing to step into the forge. Here's the secret they discovered. The forge is not optional if you want to become something more than you currently are. You can avoid it. You can absolutely stay stuck. You can remain comfortable in what you know, but you cannot have both comfort and transformation. You cannot hold on to your old identity and step into your new destiny. The bridge between who you are and who you must become is built from the ashes of who you were. There is simply no other way. Every warrior culture in history discovered this same truth independently. The ancient Greeks, the samurai, the Stoics, the Knights Templar, the Shaolin monks, they all had different methods, but the principle was exactly the same: voluntary hardship, deliberate discomfort, strategic suffering. They didn't do this because they were masochists who loved pain. They did it because they understood that strength is never built in comfort. Character is not forged in safety. Power is not discovered in ease. You're ambitious, but you feel stuck. Why? Because you want warrior results using civilian methods. You want to conquer new territory while remaining comfortable in your old one. You want transformation without any actual change. You want to arrive at the destination without ever taking the journey. The universe just laughs at this idea. Reality doesn't negotiate, it only responds to action that aligns with natural law. And natural law says that growth requires resistance, strength requires struggle, and transformation requires the destruction of the old form. This is why the warriors embraced suffering, not because they enjoyed the pain, but because they understood that pain is the price of admission to power. Every single repetition in training hurt, every cold morning hurt, every moment of discipline when their bodies screamed for rest, it hurt, but they understood something you might still be learning. Temporary pain creates permanent power. Avoiding that temporary pain creates permanent weakness. You're stuck in the gap between these two truths, wanting the power but unwilling to pay the price of pain. The warriors, they made a decision. They decided that the pain of discipline was far better than the pain of regret. They decided that the temporary discomfort of transformation was infinitely better than the permanent discomfort of unrealized potential. They decided that dying to their old self was better than living as a ghost of their possible self. This is the decision that stands before you right now, not tomorrow. Not when conditions are perfect. Right now, will you remain stuck in your comfort, or will you finally step into the forge? Will you keep negotiating with yourself, making excuses, or will you finally burn the escape routes and commit, fully and completely, to becoming the person you were always meant to be? The choice is yours. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more. Here's what no one tells you about that moment of decision. It's not dramatic. There's no orchestra. There's no audience. It happens in silence, in private, in the dark hours when no one is watching. The ancient warriors called these the hours of choice, the moments when you're alone with yourself, your potential, your fear, and your comfort, and you must choose. Every single person who has ever transformed had this moment, usually, multiple times. It's that moment where the old you fights for survival, and the new you demands to be born. You're caught right in the middle, in agony, just wanting someone to tell you what to do. But this is your moment. No one can make this choice for you. No mentor, no book, no video can walk this path for you. The warriors understood that true transformation is a solo journey. You can have guides, you can have teachers, you can have philosophies, but the work itself, the death and rebirth, the stripping away and rebuilding, that's yours and yours alone. This is both the curse and the gift of the warrior path. You cannot delegate it. You cannot outsource it. You can't hack it or shortcut it or wish it away. You must walk through the fire yourself, and that fire is waiting for you right now. It's been waiting your entire life. Every time you felt that gap between who you are and who you could be, that was the fire calling you. Every time you felt frustrated with being stuck, that was your highest self begging you to step into transformation. Every time you felt that burning ambition colliding with invisible chains, that was the warrior within you trying to break free. The ancient warriors had a final teaching about being stuck that might be the most important one. They taught that stuck people are not weak, they're not lazy, they're not broken. They're simply standing at the threshold of transformation and mistaking the fear of change for the inability to change. You're not stuck because you can't move forward. You're stuck because moving forward requires leaving behind everything familiar, and your biology is wired to resist that. Your nervous system is designed to keep you safe, and safe means known, and known means the current version of you, even if that version is suffering. The warriors developed practices to override this biological programming. They trained themselves to redefine safety, not as comfort, but as growth. They trained themselves to see danger not in change, but in stagnation. They literally rewired their nervous systems to crave challenge instead of comfort, to seek difficulty instead of ease, to pursue transformation instead of preservation. This is possible for you, not theoretically actually, but it requires you to stop waiting for motivation and start building discipline. Stop seeking inspiration and start executing anyway. Stop planning your transformation and start living it. The warriors didn't plan to become warriors. They trained until they became warriors. The transformation happened in the action, not in the preparation. You've been preparing long enough. You've been stuck long enough. You've been negotiating with yourself long enough. You've been waiting for the perfect moment long enough. The perfect moment doesn't exist. The only moment is now. The only choice is this one. The only question is, will you step into the forge, or will you remain in the comfortable prison of your potential? I want you to do something right now, not later. Right now. After this video ends, I want you to close your eyes for just a moment and see yourself clearly. See the person you are now, with all your stuck patterns, all your comfort zones, all your limitations. Really see that person. Then, see the person you're meant to become. The version of you that your ambition is pointing toward. The warrior version. The unleashed version. The version that stopped negotiating and started executing. Feel the difference. The choice between those two versions is made right now. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more. Now go choose. Can you truly see that person you want to become? That powerful, fulfilled, and unstoppable version of you? Now, understand this. The distance between who you are now and who you could be isn't measured in time, resources, or opportunities. It's measured in deaths. How many times are you willing to die and be reborn? How many old versions of yourself are you willing to let go of? How many comfortable identities are you willing to burn to the ground? Ancient warriors understood that true transformation isn't about adding more things to your life. It's about subtraction. You don't become more by piling on new habits. You become more by stripping away everything that isn't essential. Every habit that doesn't serve your highest vision must die. Every belief that limits you must die. Every relationship that keeps you small must evolve or end. Every comfort that prevents your growth must be sacrificed. This is the path. It's not the easy path. It's not the popular path. It is the warrior's path. The ancient path that separates those who only dream from those who truly become. Before we go any deeper, you need to understand something. This isn't just information. This is an activation. The warriors knew that certain truths, once heard, cannot be unheard. Once you truly understand what's keeping you stuck, you can never again pretend you don't know. You can still choose to stay stuck, but it will be a conscious choice, and a conscious choice carries a different weight than an unconscious pattern. So, right now, before we continue, I want you to pause this video and comment below with one thing. What is the identity you're holding on to that's keeping you stuck? What version of yourself do you need to let die so your warrior self can finally emerge? Don't overthink it. Just write it down, make it real by naming it. Because the warriors knew that naming your enemy is the first step to defeating it. And your enemy isn't your circumstances or a lack of opportunity. Your enemy is the old version of you that's terrified of change. Name it. Then, continue this journey with us, because what's coming next will show you exactly how to overcome it. Now, let's talk about what happens after you make that choice. After you decide to step into the forge of transformation. The warriors were brutally honest about this part. The beginning is not glorious. The beginning is confusion, discomfort, and a whole lot of doubt. You'll start taking new actions, and your entire system will revolt. Your body will feel tired. Your mind will generate 1,000 reasons to quit. Your emotions will swing wildly from one extreme to another. Your relationships might feel strained. You'll constantly question if you made the right choice. This is normal. This is expected. This is your old identity fighting for survival. The warriors called this the Valley of Death. It's that space between who you were and who you're becoming, where you feel like you're neither one nor the other. You've left the old country but haven't yet arrived in the new land. You're in between, in the void, surrounded by uncertainty. Most people quit right here. They mistake this discomfort for a sign that they're on the wrong path. They think, because it's hard, it must be wrong. So they retreat to what's familiar, to comfort, back to being stuck. And they tell themselves they tried, they gave it their best shot, but it just wasn't meant to be. But the warriors knew better. They knew the Valley of Death isn't a sign you're on the wrong path. It's proof that you're on the right one. Only real transformation feels like a kind of death. Only real change creates this level of discomfort. If it were easy, it wouldn't be worth it. If it were comfortable, it wouldn't be powerful. If it didn't require everything from you, it wouldn't give you everything you want. The samurai had a practice for navigating this valley. They called it zazen or seated meditation, but it was much more than just sitting still. It was the practice of observing your mind's rebellion without obeying it. Watching your thoughts scream for comfort without acting on them. Feeling your emotions demand that you quit, without listening to their pleas. They trained themselves to become the calm observer of their internal experience, rather than a slave to it. And this, my friends, is the secret to sustained transformation. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more on this journey. You must develop the capacity to feel everything, while being controlled by nothing. You have to learn to hear every part of you that wants to quit, and keep moving anyway. You must train yourself to acknowledge discomfort without letting it dictate your decisions. This is mastery. It's not the absence of difficulty, but the ability to move through it. It's not the elimination of doubt, but the capacity to act despite it. It's not waiting until you feel ready, but training yourself to move forward while feeling completely unready. The warriors of history were not superhuman. They felt fear, just like everyone else. They experienced doubt, just like everyone else. They wanted comfort, just like everyone else. The difference was, they had trained themselves to act anyway. They had developed the muscle of discipline that overrides the voice of comfort. They had built the capacity to do what's necessary, regardless of how they felt. This is what you're building right now, whether you realize it or not. Every time you take action while feeling stuck, you're building that muscle. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you're strengthening that capacity. Every single time you choose growth over comfort, you're training the warrior within. It's not visible immediately. It's not dramatic, but accumulation is everything. The warriors understood that transformation isn't a single moment. It's 1,000 tiny deaths, 1,000 small choices, 1,000 moments where you choose differently than you used to. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, you become someone else, someone stronger, someone more disciplined, someone capable of things your old self couldn't even imagine. The person you are right now, stuck and ambitious, is standing at the very beginning of this journey. You can see the path ahead. It's not hidden. It's not a secret. It's right there in front of you. The only question is, will you walk it? Will you take that first step, even though you can't see the end? Will you commit to the process, even though the outcome is uncertain? Will you trust that this path has been walked before by every warrior who ever lived, and that it leads where you want to go, even though the journey is hard? The warriors made a pact with themselves. They swore that no matter what happened, no matter how difficult it became, no matter how many times they wanted to quit, they would not stop. They would not retreat. They would not return to who they were. This wasn't just blind stubbornness. It was strategic commitment. They understood that the moment you leave yourself an exit route, you'll take it. The moment you give yourself permission to quit, if it gets too hard, it will get too hard. The moment you make your transformation optional, you'll opt out. So they made it non-optional. They burned the boats. They cut off the retreat. They committed so fully that the only way out was through. This is what's required from you, not someday, not when you feel ready now, today, this very moment. You must make a decision so complete that your old self has no path back. You must commit so fully that being stuck is no longer an option. You must burn the boats of comfort and force yourself to swim to a new shore or drown trying. This sounds extreme because it is extreme. Transformation is extreme. But staying stuck is also extreme. It just doesn't feel that way because it's familiar. Think about the extremeness of living your entire life below your potential. Think about the extremeness of dying with your music still inside you. Think about the extremeness of reaching the end and realizing you spent decades being someone you were unmeant to be, all because you were too comfortable to change. Choose your extreme. Choose your path. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, subscribe for more. Some might say this is extreme, but the warrior path is just honest about its own extremeness. It doesn't pretend transformation is easy. It won't sell you comfortable lies. It tells you the truth. Change is hard. Growth is painful. Transformation requires a kind of death and rebirth, and it's worth it. Every warrior who has ever walked this path will tell you the same thing. It is worth it. The person you become is worth the death of who you were. The life you build is worth sacrificing your comfort. The power you develop is worth the pain of discipline. The freedom you experience is worth the temporary prison of focused effort. It's all worth it. But here's the catch. You don't get to know that until you do it. You don't get to feel it until you live it. You can't understand this intellectually. You must experience it directly. And that requires you to stop just reading about transformation and start living it. Stop learning about the warrior path and start walking it. Stop preparing to change and start actually changing. Now, here's the final piece of the puzzle. A secret the warriors understood that I really need you to hear. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you know exactly what to do and you're terrified to do it. Deep down, beneath all the confusion, the uncertainty, and the overthinking, you know your next step. You know what you need to start. You know what you need to stop. You know what you need to change. You know who you need to become. The knowledge is already there. The path is clear. What's missing is not more information. What's missing is a decision. A final, complete, irreversible decision. The warriors taught that a true decision isn't made in the mind. It's made in the body. It's made through action. You haven't truly decided until you've acted. Everything before that action is just consideration, contemplation, and planning. The real decision is the moment you move. So let me ask you directly. Are you done being stuck? Not theoretically. I mean, actually done. Are you done negotiating with yourself about when you'll finally start? Are you done waiting for the perfect conditions that will never come? Are you done preparing to prepare? Are you done being less than what you are capable of being? If your answer is yes, then prove it. Not to me. Prove it to yourself. Take one action right now that your stuck self would never take. Do one thing immediately that your warrior self would do. Make one choice in the next 60 seconds that begins the death of who you were and the birth of who you are becoming. It doesn't have to be huge, it just has to be real, and it has to be now. Think about it. The warriors didn't become warriors by waiting to feel like warriors. They became warriors by acting like warriors long before they felt like it. They trained when they didn't want to. They disciplined themselves when they didn't feel like it. They showed up when every fiber of their being wanted to hide. And slowly, through the accumulation of these actions, they became the very thing they were pretending to be. This is the path. Act as if. Behave as if you're already the person you want to become. Make choices as if you're already unstuck. Move through the world as if you're already transformed. This isn't delusion. This is strategy. Because your identity follows your behavior. You don't change your behavior by first changing your identity. You change your identity by changing your behavior. The warriors knew this fundamental truth. Every single action you take sends a signal to your nervous system about who you are. Every choice you make is a vote for the identity you're stepping into. Every behavior either reinforces the person you re-becoming or strengthens the person you re-trying to leave behind. So if you want to stop being stuck, stop acting stuck. If you want to become a warrior, start acting like one. If you want to transform your life, start making transformed choices. Right now, today. Thanks for watching. This moment, the time for preparation has ended. The time for action has arrived. The ancient warriors are calling you forward. Your highest self is demanding emergence. Your potential is screaming to be unleashed. Will you answer? Will you step into the forge? Will you choose transformation over comfort? Or will you close this video, return to your stuck patterns, and pretend you never heard this message? Both are choices. Both have consequences, but only one leads to the life you actually want. Only one creates the person you're meant to become. Only one honors the warrior within you that has been waiting your entire life for you to finally listen. The path is clear. The teaching is complete. The ancient wisdom has been revealed. Now comes your part. Now comes the only part that matters. What will you do? Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Right now, in this moment, after you finish these words, who will you choose to be? The comfortable prisoner or the transformed warrior? The stuck dreamer or the unleashed conqueror? The person who knows the path or the person who walks it? Choose now, act now, transform now, because the world doesn't need more people who know what to do. It needs more people who do what they know. It needs warriors, and the warrior was always you, just buried beneath layers of comfort and fear and stuck. But not anymore now, you know? Now you've heard the ancient lesson, now you have no excuse. You're either transforming or you're choosing stuckness. You're either becoming or you're decaying. You're either walking the warrior path or you're pretending it doesn't exist. There is no middle ground. There never was. The warriors tried to tell us, in 1,000 different ways, across 1,000 different centuries. Stop waiting. Start preparing. Start being stuck. Start moving. Start transforming. Start becoming. And if you're ready to continue this journey, if you're ready to keep receiving these ancient lessons, these forbidden teachings, these warrior philosophies that most people will never understand, then join us. Subscribe to this archive, because this is just the beginning. This is just the surface. There are deeper teachings, darker truths, more powerful transformations waiting for those brave enough to keep seeking, those committed enough to keep learning, those warrior enough to keep evolving. The Mind Abyss archive exists for you, for the stuck ambitious people ready to become unstuck warriors, for those who refuse to die with their potential for those who hear the ancient call and choose to answer. Subscribe now, continue the journey. Let's see how deep this goes together, because you're not here by accident. You found this message because some part of you knew you needed it. Some part of you was ready to hear it. Some part of you is already transforming. Honor that part. Feed that part. Become that part. The warrior path awaits. Your transformation begins now.